So culturally, we're moving from the old service model where if you want someone's business, you bend over backward for them, and we're moving a lot more to a leadership model. And so Ken Blanchard here says the key to successful leadership today is influence, not authority. And so I don't know how many listening to this have ever been in a position where someone else was the boss, but you ended up being the leader because you were the one who had the most focus on what was important. And in some cases, you helped the leader or helped the boss to lead by providing some of that example and by being kind of a first follower in a sense, and then helping encourage that leader, which is a very important role. The whole point of that is that you were an influencer in that situation. You were able to help people focus on what was most important. And so, what's awesome about this the whole idea of influence and leadership is in advertising. The way we teach it here at the University of Oregon is about brand thinking. That's what we call it, brand thinking. But in reality, it's about leadership. And when I look at brand thinking, the leadership principles apply. And what we're talking about is each brand has the ability to lead in its own area of expertise or its own area of competence. So, whatever you're selling, if it's not a commodity, there's meaning behind it. There's some use somebody has for it that goes beyond just a feature. And leadership is showing people what that means, and it's giving meaning to that. It's telling a story around it. Think about the best leaders and speeches they've made. Those speeches are analogous to advertisements because they're meant to inspire people and stir them up. Now, Winston Churchill was inspiring because the whole, all of Europe and England was focused on this huge threat, right, of the Nazis, and so of course there was a lot of focus, and there was a broad area of leadership for Winston Churchill, who was a very brave man who had vision and understanding of what was going on, and he was able to predict some things that were happening even before he was elected. But so he had that vision, but we may think, well, that's so broad. I mean, he's the prime minister of a country, but there are smaller areas of leadership as well. So think about, if you go to church, think about your pastor or your priest, someone who talks to you every week, and there's a small area of leadership that person has in your life. Think about your spouse or your children. Think about your tax advisor or someone like that. These are all people who help give meaning to the things that you're doing. They help give it meaning. So in the same way, brands do that, and brands can do that very well if they represent what we want to see people. We want to see more of things that we respect and love and cherish. Values that we have. Giving. We're inspired by some brands, some good brands, when they're making money and they're also doing the right thing, and they even if they just provide us good service, and good, some kind of good quality, whether that's service or quality of product or whatever, they're providing something, and they're actually showing leadership in that area, and they're owning it, and they show, leaders aren't insecure. They're brands that are secure. They know who they are. They know what they are. They know what they stand for. And so even in a small area of your life, a brand can provide leadership, can provide context, and become a lot more attractive. Even in a small buying decision, you're expressing your individuality as a consumer by which brand you choose, and you're making a small statement with the brands that you choose, and the design, the copy. Does it relate to you? Does the brand itself and the product actually express part of who you are and make a connection with you? These things are important. which is why we say 90% of advertising is garbage, because most more and more people are starting to realize this influence thing, that brands need to lead, and it's not happening as quickly as maybe I'd like to see, but that's how we teach it at the University of Oregon. We teach students to lead, and we teach students to help brands earn and deserve the customers that they have through leadership and through influence. It's not about market share. It's not about how much TV you can buy anymore. It's about influence, and it's about message. It's about genuineness, and it's about standing for something.